योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राय। Yogi Ram Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat ராம 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 भगवान श्री योगीराम सूरत कुमार की सर्वं योगीराम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। another blessed opportunity for all of us to be able to be here, to gather here in this evening twilight time meant for worship of God and sing His powerful name in His powerful shine, and with so many people together. We all know it is no small grace. In adoration of His glory, in celebration of His grace, with deep gratitude, we have offered the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. But for His grace, it would not be possible at all. Now, we have collected the sayings of Bhagavan from so many sources and put them together under the title The Divine Voice of Yogi Ram Surat Kumar. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar's Divya Vani. We're going to bring out soon in the form of a book. Now before that we thought we could go through some of the teachings of Bhagavan in his own words. So I'm only going to read out as he said, because every word that came from his mouth is uchishta for all of us. What do I mean by that? His leftover. It is from his divine being, and just hearing it, and if possible, contemplating on it, will be a yoga by itself. Hearing it with rapt attention is Shravana yoga, and then you bring it to your mind again and again and again in contemplation. It's called contemplative meditation, and this would clear many, many doubts that arise in us. And we land in final clarity of thinking, which will pave way for a deep meditation, which is called an Nididhyasana. So we shall now start with the first one. There are so many. I'm picking up some of the most relevant ones. Now we start with his own comments on himself. For many people who came to have darshan, after hearing about him, it was somewhat of a disappointment because they expected someone else. Here was a man, an old man with dirty clothes, and what was more, he was seated in a very small place, smoking all the time, which would not fit in with the definition of a jnani. So sometimes he would make fun of himself. He would talk about himself derisively. Here is one of them. This beggar doesn't do any work. He cannot be a model to society. This beggar doesn't even take bath. He simply eats and buys cigarettes with the money you people throw into this coconut shell, smokes and sleeps all the time. After saying this, he started to laugh. He started to laugh his inimitable, thunderous, cascading laughter. He laughed and laughed and laughed for quite some time, and we were helplessly drawn with him. We joined his laughter. When you see a wheel rotating very fast, spinning very fast, it would look at a distance as though it is still. I'm sure many of us have that experience. We all have seen that spinner. In our early days, at least the boys, and of course girls, would have also played. And whenever they rotate very fast, it will look as though it is still. So these people, these jnanis, their outer appearances can be very deceptive. It would look as though they were not doing anything at all, especially our Bhagwan, not doing anything but just smoking and smoking and smoking all the time. And naturally people were disappointed. I've heard people say, is this a Mahatma? We have come to a wrong place. Let's go. He's so dirty and he's smoking. But I can tell you, being with him for quite some time, a few years, this smoking was Vishwayagya for him. When he smoked, when a person entered his presence, he would immediately pull out a cigarette. He would give a very deep, penetrating glance and then light his cigarette and start smoking. Sometimes he would smoke the whole length of it, sometimes only 3/4, and sometimes only half. And the rare few times he would just light it, looking at the person, and then put out. He had his own calculations, but the minute you walked into his presence, he knew all about you, about your past, present, and future, and the janmas that would follow. And then he would operate from the level of totality. And up in the smoke, all your problems would go. Your anxieties, your depression, all that you have brought with you would go up in the smoke. The smoke itself was not visible most of the times. In fact, there would be no smell of smoking at all, which would be a great surprise to those of us who were sitting around. And he used to keep a small bit of gooseberry in the corner of his mouth. He would say it was to mitigate the effect of smoking. After smoking so much, day after day after day, for his father's work, he lost all sense of taste in the end. He would say he was unable to make out what taste it was. Everything seemed tasteless to him. And in Sudama, every day, because the ashram was coming up fast, and he was smoking so much every day, that at the end of the day, in the evening, he would drop into my hands some 5 or 6 empty boxes. Nearly 5,600 empty boxes were preserved, and now you can see, after his Mahasamadhi, we used it to build a temple, because every empty cigarette box was a sign of his hard work upon the problems of life, the problems of people, how he uplifted them in life and in spirit. So it became a monument of his work in the form of a temple. And those of you who go to Sudama can see it even today, well preserved. I would often think, sitting before him, just as he makes fun of himself, if we learn this, if we can also make fun of ourselves, if we mock at ourselves, many of our defects would go. What was merely fun for him would be a sadhana for us, because we think highly of ourselves, that we have a tendency to criticize others. If we can make fun of our own defects, we would be rid of them soon. Now the second assurance that he gave to his devotees, whenever and wherever people talk about this beggar, there my Father is present with them. Even if you think of his coconut shell, you think of any experience of yours with him, or you just talk about the experience of others with somebody, you can be sure that you are in an ashram, in his ashram, where people talk about him, his leela or his teachings, or what he means to us as a support to life. You can be sure he is instantly present there, watching you with a smile and blessing you. The third assurance, wherever you are, whatever work you do, just think that you are living for the sake of this beggar in Tiruvannamalai. Father will see to the rest. So this is offering ourselves at the feet of the Guru, unquestioningly, obediently, taking everything that comes from him as a great blessing for our spiritual growth. What an assurance it is. Just you have to add one thought. As soon as you get up in the morning, the first thing is, okay, the whole day I'm going to live for the sake of our Bhagwan, Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar. And then pray, Bhagwan, every thought of mine, every word that I utter, be it good or bad, and every work that I do, be it good or bad, is because of you that I am doing. Please accept my thoughts, words and actions all through the day as my offering to you, as my seva to you. Please be with me all through the day. So with this prayer, if we get up, and then remember whenever we can that I am doing all this for him, I am living for his sake. I have offered myself to him and I am living the life that has been chosen for me by him, and he is with me all the time. You will see how life changes for you in a few days. Now, the next assurance is about himself. This beggar has been living in this God madness for a long, long time. Father controls this beggar's movements. Father, who governs the whole cosmos and is governing this beggar's every movement. Father alone exists This beggar doesn't exist at all. Every thought, every word, every action of this beggar is governed by my Father, who is the cosmic controller. And there were times when not many people around, and when he had people whom he trusted, he would declare in a very divine voice, I am the cosmic controller. I alone exist. I control the whole cosmos. I alone exist. There is nothing else, no one else. So with this, we shall stop today. There is enough and more to contemplate on. And this would be our food for thought and contemplation. And that would form the Manana Yoga, which would clear out many, many doubts of ours. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, we beg you again and again, a million times, for your immediate divine intervention to change the way of the world where there is so much violence. We have been reading such shocking occurrences here and there, unthinkable. Barbarities. We beg you, Bhagavan, to bring in unity, harmony, order and discipline into the lives of people so that they lead a dharmic life with remembrance of God. There is already a war going on between the two countries of the world with its own justification. But then we have been seeing the disastrous effects of that. We beg you again to stop this war immediately so that peace be prevalent everywhere. And there should be no mention of the word war among the countries of the world. And only you, the cosmic controller, can do it. There are sudden attacks of those cruel diseases and violent furies of nature, as we have been seeing for the past few days, the Yamuna floods and those terrible accidents. We beg you, Bhagavan, to keep those killer diseases and the violence of nature and those terrible accidents under control. We also beg you to uproot all the negativities of the human mind which are responsible for today's world of violence. We beg you to reach out to all the people in the world, whichever country they belong to, whichever language they speak, whichever religion they have embraced, for they are suffering too because of their past bad karma, without help or protection. They may not believe the theory of past janma, past karmas and rebirth, and yet they too suffer. But the truth is truth. It doesn't wait for your faith. We beg you again and again to reach out to all of them. And we also beg you to protect all those people who have been selfless and slogging for the welfare of the others from unnecessary, unworthy, unhealthy criticisms and aspersion. We beg you again to promote the economy of the country and the growth in varied fields of activity so that India would reach that high status of world teacher to conduct the whole world in the path of Dharma as predicted by many masters before. We pray to you in all earnestness and intensity for ceaseless and joyful chanting of your powerful name and unbroken remembrance of your leelas and teachings, so that all this would become our Atma Shakti. We also beg you, Bhagavan, we know that every creature of this cosmos is only an instrument in your hands. All the same, we beg you to bless us to be only sattvic instruments and not rakshasic elements. Please bless us to run our everyday life as an offering to you and not be caught by the temptations of Maya. We also seek that ultimate state of being, that state of bliss and peace of yours, but then we need to be purified. Our mind is already full of those residual latent tendencies of the past karmas, because of which there are sudden attacks of fear, turning into killer fear, anger, poisonous, and jealousy, and passion, and sorrow turning into depression and lifelong medicine. Bhagavan, you have thundered, you have declared so many times that the name of the Divine is a very powerful weapon against our past karmas. We take refuge in your powerful name and beg you to bless us for our early purification. Wherever we live in this world, whatever duty or work that falls upon our hand, we know it's all your work, and we should be able to do it in the spirit of service to you, and that joyfully, without any unhealthy competition or jealousy, so that all this would also become Atma Shakti. And Bhagavan, please bless us to practice acceptance of whatever life brings to us, be it a joy or grief. For you are arranging every detail of everybody's life, and whatever you arrange at any moment is perfect, meant for our greatest benefit. We should be able to look upon everything that comes from you as a blessing in disguise. When a bad karma begins to play up, we know how the life turns over, collapses. Everything that we say or do misfires. We begin to resent God and His grace, feeling let down by Him, and blame all the others bitterly for our own failures, little realizing that it's we who have invited them ourselves by our past karmas. Every torture that you give to somebody, be sure will one day come back to you. Every word of praise that you give to someone will come back to you to add strength to you. But Bhagavan, out of His grace and compassion and generosity, puts a blessing in the punishment. And what does the blessing do? It pushes back towards God, and a greater wisdom is born out of every adversity. That all that we have held as securities of life would be cut off from us, pushing us into an utter state of helplessness. And then we would know in a flash, God is our only security. As the mind gets cleared of doubts, the presence of God will be felt. We also beg you to bless us to feel that it is only your sankalpa, your will, that's behind all the happenings of life and all the happenings of the world. Please bless us to be grateful to you even for the adversities of life, because we know they are greater blessings in disguise. We also seek your powerful blessings for all the species of the cosmos to be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we who have been seeking solutions endlessly for the problems of life now seek dissolution of the root cause of this vicious cycle of births and deaths. And what is it? The ahambhava, the utter selfishness of I and mine, the tyranny of the ego, We beg you, Bhagavan, to approve this Aham and promote Atma Bhav so that we be blessed with that immortal life, that eternal living in merger with you, or eternal servitude to you, that eternal supreme divinity. Jai Yoginam Sri Kumar.